They called it the strangest wedding Atlanta had ever seen. The bride, a sharp-tongued, silver-haired billionaire, Mrs. Dorothy Whitmore, age 85, owner of half the real estate along Peachtree Street. The groom, a 28-year-old man with nothing but a worn-out suitcase and a backpack full of dreams, Jamal Carter. No one could understand it. Whispers spread like wildfire. Is she lonely? Is he after her money? Is this some kind of twisted business deal? But none of those whispers came close to the truth, because what really happened between Jamal and Mrs. Dorothy was more than love, more than lies. It was a storm of secrets, vengeance, and redemption, and once it started, there was no going back. Jamal Carter grew up on the south side of Atlanta. Rough streets, no father, and a mother who worked 3 jobs just to keep the lights on. He was smart, no doubt. Had that kind of street wisdom that couldn't be taught, but doors rarely opened for kids like him. At 19, he dropped out of college. Not because he lacked ambition, but because he couldn't afford textbooks. At 23, he was sleeping in his car, working night shifts and writing business ideas in a beat-up notebook during his breaks. And by 28, he was running out of time. That was when he met her. It was one of those accidental encounters that didn't feel like an accident at all. Jamal had wandered into the Whitmore Rare Books and Cafe, lured by the smell of roasted coffee and a sign offering free Wi-Fi and business networking Thursdays. He wasn't there to network, he just wanted a place to charge his phone. But as fate would have it, Mrs. Dorothy Whitmore herself was sitting at the corner table, sipping herbal tea, reading a weathered copy of War and Peace. She looked like someone from another century, elegant, poised, and just the slightest bit dangerous. Their eyes met when Jamal reached for a napkin. Mrs. Dorothy, smirking. "You know, young man, there's more power in books than in power itself." Jamal chuckled. "Jamal, then I guess I'm in the right place. I've been looking for both." She invited him to sit. That was the beginning. Over the next few weeks they met often. At first it was casual, conversations about literature, society, business. But slowly it turned personal. Mrs. Dorothy saw something in Jamal. Ambition without entitlement. And Jamal saw something in her too. Loneliness behind the money, fire beneath the wrinkles. People noticed. Her driver, her staff, even her attorney, Mr. Glenn Avery, a coal man with eyes like steel, all began to worry. But Dorothy didn't care. And when she proposed to Jamal in her penthouse overlooking the Atlanta skyline, he didn't laugh. He didn't ask why. He said yes. The ceremony was intimate, just a few witnesses, no family, no press. Dorothy wore a white Chanel suit, pearls older than her house. Jamal wore a simple tailored tuxedo, rented. The vows were short, her hand trembled, his didn't. They kissed, and just like that, the deal was sealed. Or so everyone thought. Jamal Carter is missing. One morning, the staff found his room empty, his phone shattered on the marble floor. No note, no luggage, no sign of struggle. Mrs. Dorothy, now 86, refuses to speak to the press, but behind closed doors she tells her butler, he knew too much, he went too far. Something had shifted in the house. Jamal had started asking questions about Dorothy's late husband, about secret safes behind her paintings, about her private meetings with politicians and judges. He'd even asked her lawyer about her will. And one night he found something in the library, an old photograph hidden inside a hollowed-out Bible. The photo showed Dorothy, in 1973, standing next to a man who looked exactly like Jamal. But that couldn't be, could it? Last time we told you about Jamal Carter, a 28-year-old man from the streets of Atlanta, who shocked the city by marrying 85-year-old billionaire Dorothy Whitmore. 6 months later, he vanished. No one knows where he went. No one, except maybe Dorothy. But before Jamal disappeared, he left behind something no one expected. 5 handwritten letters, each addressed to someone he barely knew, each containing a piece of the truth, each leading us closer to the secret that could destroy everything. It started with a knock on the door. Glenn Avery, Dorothy's longtime attorney, was the first to receive a letter. It came in a plain brown envelope, no return address. Inside, a single sheet of paper in Jamal's handwriting. "Mr. Avery, If you're reading this, it means I've either run or I'm dead. You never liked me. That's fine. I didn't marry her for your approval. But you should know your name is in her journal. Page 317, right under the word blackmail. Glenn froze. Dorothy's journal was supposed to be locked in her private vault. He picked up the phone to call her, but stopped. His hand was shaking. "What did you get yourself into, Jamal?" he whispered. Meanwhile, Dorothy sat alone in the house. She knew the letters were coming. She could feel it. Jamal had always asked too many questions. She thought she'd hidden the past well enough, but clearly, she was wrong. Late one night, Jamal couldn't sleep. He wandered the house, following the strange creaks of the old mansion. He ended up in the library, a room she always kept locked. Except this time, the door was open. Inside, beneath a loose floorboard, he found an old leather-bound journal. Dorothy's name was embossed on the front. He shouldn't have read it, but he did, and what he found would change everything. April 3rd, 1974, I warned Elijah. If he ever showed his face again, I'd make sure he disappeared for good. June 11th, 1974, the child survived. I told no one. Sent money, changed the records. September 8th, 1997, the boy's mother died in a fire. Accidental, convenient. October 5th, 2020, he looks just like him. It's him, Elijah's son. Elijah, that was the name Jamal saw in the photo. The man standing next to Dorothy in 1973. Jamal had never known his father. His mother never spoke of him. Now, he finally had a name and a terrible suspicion. Was Mrs. Dorothy his stepmother or something even darker? Cora Daniels had once been Dorothy's housemaid. She was fired in 1974 under mysterious circumstances. When she received the letter, she nearly fainted. "Miss Daniels, I found a name in the journal. Yours. Did you know about the baby? Did you know about Elijah? Please, I need to talk to you before it's too late." But it was already too late. Cora Daniels died of a stroke 2 days later. Natural causes, they said. But was it? Marcus was the only one who knew where Jamal had really been going those late nights. "If anything happens to me, don't believe the news. Dorothy's not who she says she is. She married me because of who my father was, because of what he took from her. There's a key behind the third brick in the library fireplace. Find it." Flashlight in hand, Marcus pried the brick loose. Behind it, a small metal key. No label, no hint, just cold steel. He didn't know what it opened, but someone else did. Before he could leave the estate, security guards found him. They didn't ask questions. They just held him until Mr. Avery arrived. "Avery, you shouldn't have come here, Marcus. You're lucky we're not calling the police. This house has secrets, and secrets need to stay buried." Tanya had once tried to write an expose on the Whitmore family. She received a cease and desist within 48 hours. Jamal's letter changed everything. "Tanya, you were right all along. Start digging into 1974. Start with a fire that killed a young mother named Rosalind Carter. That was my mother. I think Dorothy had something to do with it." Tanya reopened her investigation. Within a week, her car was found abandoned. No body, no trace, just her laptop, wiped clean. This one she found on her pillow. "Dorothy, I never hated you, even after everything I learned. You wanted to control the past, but the past has a way of catching up. You didn't marry me out of love. You married me to erase what you did to my family. But now the world will know. Whether I survive or not, the truth will survive. Goodbye." She read it once, then twice. Then she set it on fire. She walks past the grand portraits, the piano, the empty library. She stops by the window staring out at the city. Mrs. Dorothy softly. He was never supposed to find out. Behind her, the front door creaks. She turns. Fade to black. What did Elijah do to Dorothy all those years ago? Why did she erase his son's identity? And where is Jamal now? Hiding or buried?